A few 2 weeks ago. This resolution was filed, Senate Resolution number 346 was filed before we went on recess. We are currently facing an energy crisis, but we believe this energy crisis can eventually lead to a food crisis, and therefore we have to prepare. The 30% of our urea sources of the world come from pass through the Strait of Hormuz. About more than 40% of ammonia, which is also a raw material for fertilizers, likewise comes from the Strait of Hormuz or passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Today, it is still closed, largely, and therefore farm inputs are not going to reach the necessary supply chain requirements for production, which can eventually affect supply and cost. And therefore, experts are saying, unless this is resolved sooner rather than later, in terms of the war in the Middle East, we should prepare for a food shock. There was a food shock during the Ukraine-Russian war, which affected the entire agriculture sector worldwide. And this is, they say, worse. And so we have to prepare. And we believe, as you have heard earlier, in terms of who are here, the only way we can move forward is if we work together. Pag tayo po ay nagtutulungan, gobyerno at pribadong sektor. Hindi kaya ito ng gobyerno lamang. If the pandemic taught us anything, is that pag nagtulungan tayo at nagkaisa, ay kaya nating lagpasan ang mga pagsubok. At yun din ang ating nais mangyari rito. Magkaroon ng sistema para magtulungan ang sektor ng agrikultura at pangingisda, ang agriculture, industry, logistics, supply chain, to come together and figure out how we can move forward. Last March 31, Secretaries Kiko Laurel, Conrad Estrella, myself, Congressman Mark Enverga, Congresswoman Lea Bulot, Congressman Salceda, both houses sat down with the executive department secretaries, and we created a crisis committee for food security. We will, after this hearing, suggest to Secretaries Kiko and Secretary Conrad that we include representatives of the private sector in this Agri-Agra Crisis Committee. We have agreed to meet a minimum of once every 2 weeks and more meetings if necessary. We have established a war room, care of Secretary Kiko Laurel. We welcome the private sector's proposals, suggestions, and of course, partnership in addressing the challenges of food security and averting or cushioning the impact of a possible food shock for our country. Kaya nating lagpasan ito. Ang kinakailangan lamang ay proactive at participatory at mamomobilize hindi lamang ang gobyerno, kung hindi ang mas malawak na pribadong sektor sa hanay ng agrikultura at pangingisda. We can face this crisis, but we have to prepare. We will be able to get over this crisis, but we have to be ready. And that's why we have this committee hearing. And we thank you all for coming. Huwag po tayong mangamba lamang. Kumilos tayo, harapin natin itong krisis na ito at malalagpasan natin. With that, I now turn over the floor to Senator Bam Aquino for his opening statement. You have the floor, Senator.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Good morning, everyone. Maraming salamat kay Senator Kiko Pangilinan sa kanyang pag-imbita sa ating lahat upang talakayin ang tugon ng pamahalaan sa krisis sa Middle East at ang epekto nito sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda, ang mga sektor na nagpapakain sa ating bansa. Magandang umaga rin po sa mga bisita at sa ating mga kababayan na nanonood ngayong umaga. 40 araw na ang nakalipas mula nang nagsimula ang krisis. Mahigit 150 piso na kada litro ng diesel, halos 100 piso ang gasolina. At ngayon, nasa 1,600 piso na ang bawat tangke ng LPG. Ramdam na ramdam po ng bawat pamilyang Pilipino ang bigat ng sunod-sunod na pagtaas ng presyo nito. Nakita rin po natin ang mga ulat na kabilang ang Pilipinas sa mga bansang may pinakamataas na pagtaas ng presyo ng petrolyo sa buong mundo. Ang presyo ng gasolina ay tumaas ng 27.3% noong Marso mula Pebrero, habang ang presyo ng diesel ay tumaas ng 59.5%. Ang gastos sa kuryente tumaas din ng 9.2%. Ibig sabihin, kahit hindi po natin ginusto ang sigalot sa Middle East, tayo ang isa sa pinakaapektado. Ang patuloy na pagtaas na ito ay may matinding domino effect sa ating buong ekonomiya. Natanggap po natin ang magandang balita na merong 2-week ceasefire at muling pagbukas ng Strait of Hormuz, siguro po 2 oras na ang nakalipas. Sana po tuloy-tuloy ito sa kapayapaan at sa pagbaba muli ng presyo ng petrolyo. Pero alam rin po natin mula sa nakaraang hearing na posibleng manatiling mataas ang presyo ng petrolyo ng ilang buwan kahit matapos na ang krisis. Maganda pong silipin natin ang ginagawa ng iba't ibang bansa sa mundo. Marami na po ang naglabas ng pondo upang bawasan ang pasanin ng kanilang mamamayan. Sa Australia, meron pong libreng public transportation. Sa New Zealand, may lingguhang cash assistance bilang bahagi ng kanilang fuel relief package. Sa Ethiopia, may subsidiya sa petrolyo para sa lahat, hindi lang sa transport sector. At sa France, may direktang financial support para sa kanilang agricultural at fishing sectors. Ang Vietnam naman po at India, tinanggal na ang excise tax sa krudo. Sa mga bansang mas matinding nakakaramdam ng epekto ng krisis, hindi lang po sila lumipat sa work from home at namigay ng subsidiya. Ang Pakistan at Bangladesh nagsara ng mga paaralan at lumipat sa online class dahil sa presyo ng langis. Ang Cuba naman ay nasa gitna ng isang health crisis, nawawalan ng kuryente ang mga ospital at may backlog na 96,000 surgeries. Nagsisilbi po silang babala. Ganito ang posibleng mangyari kung hindi tayo kikilos. Kailangan po natin ng agarang aksyon upang protektahan ang 3 pundasyon ng pamilyang Pilipino. Ang palengke, ang ospital at paaralan. Una, ang presyo sa palengke. Pangalawa, ang serbisyo sa ospital. At pangatlo, ang pagpapanatiling bukas ng ating paaralan. Halos 2 linggo na po ang nakalipas, ngunit hindi pa rin tinatanggal ang excise tax sa krudo. Kahit napasa na po yan ng Kongreso at ng Senado. Alam po nating umaandar na ang proseso at hinihintay ito ng taong bayan. Alam rin po natin para sa marami nating kababayan, sana po 2 linggo na itong natanggal na. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa ring malinaw na update sa panukalang suspension ng VAT pagdating sa petrolyo. Sa nakaraang Protect hearing, malinaw naman ang pahayag ng mga petroleum companies. Kaya nilang ipatupad ang suspension ng VAT sa petrolyo at agad nitong mapapababa ang presyo ng krudo sa ating merkado. At panghuli, may dagdag na babala ang Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Association of the Philippines. Habang nakatutok ang gobyerno sa oil reserves, dapat ding tiyakin ang tuloy-tuloy na supply at abot kayang presyo ng mga gamot. Ang inflation rate po ay tumulon mula 2.4% noong Pebrero patungong 4.1% nitong Marso. Hinala po natin na kahit matapos ang gulo sa Middle East, manatiling mataas ang presyo hanggang sa mga sunod na buwan. Ayon po sa PSA, the top 3 commodity groups contributing to the March 2026 overall inflation rate were food, housing at kasama po dito ang kuryente, tubig at gas and transport. Mataas na po ang presyo ng pagkain noon bago nangyari yung krisis. Ngayon po, dahil sa krisis, tumataas pa ng lalo. Sa patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo, sino po ang pinaka-nasasaktan? Siyempre po, ang ating mga maliliit na negosyo, mga tsuper, mga arawan na isang kayod, isang tuka. Higit na mas dama ng ating mahihirap na kababayan ang pag-akyat sa presyo ng pagkain, presyo ng gamot at transportasyon. Ang mga nagtitinda po sa palengke na araw-araw ay pasan ang bigat ng renta sa pwesto. May benta man o wala, kailangan nilang magbayad. Ang bawat pisong pambayad sa renta o mahal na langis ay direktong bawas sa kakarampot na kita nila na pambili ng pagkain ng kanilang pamilya. Inaasahan po namin na meron po tayong pagkakaisa para sa isang mabilis at epektibong tugon. Kailangan nating kumilos para sa ating mga magsasaka, mangingisda, maliliit na manininda. Sila po ang dahilan at ang pinagmumulan ng pagkain inuuwi natin sa ating pamilya pagkatapos ng mahabang araw ng trabaho. Mga kasama, ipakita po natin na kaya nating magkaisa para sa taong bayan. Magtrabaho po tayo para siguraduhin na sa gitna ng krisis may pagkain na ihahain ang bawat magulang, na may pagkain na magbibigay lakas sa bawat manggagawa, na may pagkain na magbibigay sustansya sa bawat isang mag-aaral at bawat bata. Huwag po nating hintayin ang punto na kailangan pong mamili ang taong bayan kung sino po sa kanila ang kakain sa kanilang pamilya. Agaran po ang ating aksyon para matigil po natin ang patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo ng pagkain sa ating lipunan. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Maraming salamat, Senator Bam Aquino, for your opening statement. We can now proceed. Just some administrative matters. We are requesting all our resource persons that there is a limit of 5 minutes for your presentation, except for the Department of Agriculture. If you need additional time, we will give you additional 2 minutes for your presentations. We would like to appeal to everyone. Marami po tayong tatalakayin ngayon, kaya keep it short, keep it precise. Kung maaari po, just focus on the salient features of your opening statements, highlight the highlights, and you may submit a detailed, more detailed written statement for this committee. The Department of Agriculture will be given 10 minutes. The committee secretary is directed to monitor the time and display a timer on the screen for the duration of each presentation. We will begin with the briefing of the Department of Agriculture, after which we will call on other resource persons to make their presentations. So may we know who from the Department of Agriculture? Secretary USEC Roger Navarro, Secretary for USEC for Operations. You have the floor. Go ahead.
Good morning po sa lahat. Good morning sa ating mga kasama dito sa magsasaka. The Department of Agriculture expresses its support for the Senate proposed resolution number 346 introduced by, of course, the chair. We recognize the serious impact in rising oil prices on our agriculture and fishery sector. Higher fuel prices are increasing the expenses of the farm operations, irrigation, fishing activities, and transport of goods. At the same time, the prices of fertilizer, feeds, and other inputs are also rising, placing a significant pressure on farmers and fisherfolk and contributing to a higher food prices. In response, the department has been implementing fuel assistance, input subsidies, and credit support programs to help ease these burdens. We are also working closely with partner agencies to ensure timely and coordinated interventions on the ground. However, we acknowledge that challenges remain. We welcome this inquiry as an opportunity to assess the effectiveness of our programs, identify gaps, and strengthen our responses. The Department of Agriculture remains committed to support and supporting our farmers and fisherfolk and ensuring food security for all Filipino people. We stand ready to work with the Senate in advancing responsive and sustainable policies. We are prepared to present our updates from our previous presentation in Protect Committee last month or last 2 weeks in the Senate. May I request Assistant Secretary for Operations, Unicols, to make the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
ASEC Manalo, you have the floor. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and to Senator Bam Aquino also. And sa lahat po ng officials and staff of the government as well as the private organizations na nandito. So, we'll be presenting an update relative to the last presentations of the department during the first Protect Committee last month. So, next slide, please. Sige, next slide. So, the slide will show the latest prices in the market of some of the major commodities monitored by our Bantay Presyo, comparing it with the pre-conflict price. So the slide shows that the biggest commodity that experienced increase in price, almost 50% from the pre-conflict, is carrots, followed by the pork, kasim, and liempo. Yung commodities that experience a decrease in the prices relative to retail ay ang tomato as well as yung chicken po natin. Next slide, please. When we presented the the simulations, we made it clear that the slide that we use is the template given by the Senate. And we presented the worst case scenarios, which some of the members of the media projected that we are causing panic. But we are just showing here that in every peso increase in the pump price, there are relative increases in the price per kilogram in retail prices of these commodities. And as shown in the slide, it's chicken who will experience the highest increase in retail price if the government will not implement its actions, followed by the pork. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. In terms of the supply of rice as well as its projected impact, as of this month, pakibalik po, sorry. Yan. In terms of rice, as of this month, the end of the year projection for rice, this is palay po, no? Palay, 19.8 million metric tons. This is the baseline. And if we do some scenarios relative to the increase in urea, in the fertilizer, from 2,500 per bag up to the 3,000 pesos per bag, and with the diesel at 150 per liter, yan po yung mga corresponding decrease in the production. Mainly, ito pong second semester natin or yung tinatawag natin na dry season. Ang total end-of-year impact po niyan, pag titingnan natin, is between 10 to 15 days of reduction in our end of the year inventory. Kasi po yung 19.8 million metric tons will correspond to an 80 days end of the year inventory. So next slide, please. Relative to the inventory of the supply of rice from our NFA, ang days to life po natin based on the daily consumption rate is around 9.41 days. Pakibalik po, sorry. Previous slide po, may NFA slide. Baka ayan, sorry. So, for the NFA po, based on the inventory in terms of milled rice na 107,789 metric tons, meron po tayong ina-estimate na days to last of 9.41 days. So next slide, please. Sorry, pakibalik po muna ng konti. Sige po, na-mix kasi yung slide. For the corn, which feeds the major ingredients sa feed industry, ang baseline po na ginamit dito is the usual farmer practice of 7.5 bags of inorganic fertilizers. So when we simulate, if magbabawas po ng isang bag ng fertilizer ang farmer, at a cost din ang fertilizer ng 2,400, yan din po yung corresponding decline niya dun sa projected production. As well as kung magbababa din ng 2 bags ng fertilizer, ganun din po yung corresponding rate of reduction niya dito po sa production ng ating yellow corn. So next slide, please. Sige po. Yan. So vegetable. I'll be presenting lang po itong scenario 1. Why scenario 1? Because we are almost in the 6th week or 40 days of war, itong Middle East crisis. Ang projected po na decline in the production or supply of lowland vegetable ay nasa 8,526 metric tons po. And yung highland vegetable is nasa 1,957 metric tons. That's the scenario 1 in both vegetables. Next slide, please. For onion, again, yung scenario 1 po na tinitingnan natin because this will correspond to the peak in the harvest of onion up to maybe May of this year. So ang reduction po natin na tinitingnan if ma-spoil ang ating mga onion is nasa around 8,849 metric tons po ang mababawas sa supply. Next slide, please. For the sugar, both raw and refined, we have supply of almost 121 days as well as 183 days. Next slide, please. As well as coconut, hindi po tayo based on the projections of the Philippine coconut industry. Next slide, please. For the meat products, the simulations that was used started on February 28, the start of the start of the war. So the simulations used by the livestock group for the pork, ending the second quarter of this year, nasa 99 days to last po ang supply. of course, this factors in na rin po ang data relative to importation. Next slide, please. For the chicken, ganun din po, almost 111 days ang days to last natin, ending this current quarter. Factor in na rin po ang importation data. Next slide, please. For the fertilizer, next slide. Okay. For the fertilizer, ito po yung current inventory of the fertilizer on hand out of the 6 major fertilizers grade being monitored by our Fertilizer and Pesticides Authority, including po yung mga volume in transit, in particular yung urea as well as yung ammonium phosphate. So meron po tayong inventory of around 2,276,022 bags. As well as factored in po dito yung total importation of the 6 major bags na around 8 million plus bags. Next slide, please. This will just shows that yung diesel ngayon, ito po kasi yung tinitingnan natin na nasa 160 o 150 pesos per liter na. This translates to almost 800 on a higher end, yung patong per bag of 50 bags of fertilizer. So yung behavior po natin ng ating mga farmer na nakikita na natin sa ground is nagbabawas na sila ng paggamit ng fertilizer. So next slide, please. So in terms of the changes in the prices, I have shown po na nasa 800, between 400 to 800 ang itinaas. Ang pinakamalaki pong taas, yung prilled urea, followed by granular urea, between 824 to as high as 879 pesos. Next slide, please. So pinapakita po ng slide na to na ito rin po yung mga possible sources o yung mga sources ng ating fertilizer, no? Yung 6 grades na pinakita natin kanina, na tinitingnan po natin kung paano natin may tutuloy yung mga negotiations and able to access fertilizers. Next slide, please. Next slide. Relative to the available resources of the Department of Agriculture now, we have the, next slide, please. Fuel assistance. Ito po yung sinasabi natin na 150 million, but the 50 million is still under the later release. The 10 billion fund coming from the GAA of this year, as well as we already submitted a request of 7 billion under the RCEF Rice Farmers Financial Assistance, but this is not yet funded. So yan po yung breakdown, no, na makikinabang ng ating mga farmers as well as fisher folks, including the amount per beneficiary, as well as the target release of this, in particular the fuel as well as the PAF will start this month. Next slide, please. Ito po siguro yung binabanggit kanina na we would like to emphasize that this involves a whole-of-nation approach as we mitigate, address this ongoing Middle East crisis. So whether it will be a fund that will be used to address all of these issues, the message is we need it po immediately. So I think po this ends the presentation of the Department of Agriculture. Thank you.
Okay, we will raise a few questions sa DA before we proceed with other resource persons. Go ahead, Senator Aquino, you have the floor.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. So maraming salamat sa presentation, ASEC Manalo. No? Just a few clarificatory questions. So when we say that pag tumaas yung presyo ng inputs or tumaas yung presyo ng fertilizer, may direct effect siya sa pagbaba ng production. Correct, no? So we focused primarily on rice. You had a number of slides, but the interventions are focused on key crops. So rice would be the #1 key crop. Right now, ano yung ating production versus domestic consumption? Where are we right now? And considering the crisis, ano yung projected ninyo na pagpababa ng ating production? Or Yusek Perez, of course, can also answer if he wishes. No?
Sir, based on the existing data, we expect that what will be affected actually will be the season or the harvest that will be planted May and June.
Okay.
Because that is where we're doing now the land prep and things like that. No? In preparation for that, we need the resources for those months. And so what will be affected will be the production come September, August, during that month. And it's around 10 million metric tons of rice.
Can you say that in percentages, Yusek Perez? So ano ba currently yung rice production natin versus domestic consumption?
At the current year, we are only producing 78% of our
Okay.
rice production.
And
for
10 million metric tons would be a decrease in how much percent?
Well, the initial projection, what we say, the minimum or the best case scenario is 20% reduction. That's the best case scenario. It can even go up to 50%. decline in productivity because, you see, pag wala hong fertilizer, walang magagawa yung farmer. Kung hindi niya kayang bumili ng gasolina, wala siya magagawa, walang kalabaw eh. And so, the initial projection is about 20%. That's the minimum decline if we don't do anything
That's 2 million metric tons of palay.
of palay. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So if we don't do anything,
And that,
and again, yun yung operative, di ba? Because we will do something,
that is
no?
the cost of not doing
Okay.
anything, the
At least-
inaction,
At least 20% up
Yes.
to 50% production.
production loss.
So we go from 78% production to maybe 50% production.
That can be the worst
And
case.
okay, so first question, yung balance po na 50%, ang plano is to import that, obviously.
I don't think that can be a good plan because all the countries in the world are doing the same. They have to save their own.
Okay.
They're experiencing the same situation, sir.
So ang sinasabi niyo po is
Mr. Chair.
posible na wala rin tayong mapagbilhan. That's possible.
We've seen that in the case of India and also in other countries. Whenever there's a tight situation,
They
the
stop
first
selling.
is to stop selling.
Okay. So ibig sabihin nun, wala tayong choice kundi talaga umaksyon para masigurado na ma-maintain natin tong 78% or even higher, no? Okay. So ang primary cost na tumataas, ang nakikita ko, please correct me if I'm wrong, dalawa, no? Yung presyo ng fertilizer at yung actual na petrolyo na ginagamit ho ng magsasaka natin. Tama po ba?
Thank you. That's correct, Mr. Chair.
So those two inputs, no? Meron ba tayong, okay, so you have these two prices going up. Yung presyo po ba ng fertilizer tumaas na? Kasi yung presyo ng pagkain hindi pa tumataas, di ba? We said this will happen in August. So currently, prices are still relatively the same. In fact, bumaba pa nga yung manok from 200 to 180. Although may mga reports din kaming nasa 220, no? But relatively, it's in the same range. Steady po siya. In the last hearing sa Protect, sabi ho ninyo na itong pagtaas maramdaman in 2 months. Yung fertilizer ba, tumaas na o steady pa rin yung presyo ngayon?
Tumaas na po. In fact, after 2 weeks after the war, tumaas na ho eh.
So mas reactive siya dito po sa nangyayari.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So right now, sa merkado, ito na pong, kasi may nakita ko dito, 800 pesos more. No? Yung prilled urea, tama po ba yung term na yun? No? Yung prilled urea is already 879 pesos more right now in the market.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
So ganun siya ka-sensitive dito po sa nangyayari sa mundo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
So considering na yung dalawang input na tumataas na apektado yung magsasaka ay yung presyo ng diesel at gasolina at fertilizer, ang programa po ba ng DA ay pag-address na nito mismo both in terms of subsidies for diesel and gasoline and fertilizer. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir. That is for all. In fact, this is the same case for corn. 20% din yung projection ng minimum. Just to continue, Mr. Chair.
Sige po.
The value that we are projecting to lose, assuming we don't do anything, the cost of inaction for 3 major crops alone, and I'm talking about rice, corn, and fisheries, is already 75 billion pesos. For the
Loss.
first, yes, that's the cost of inaction. We have a proposal actually to fund a preventive measure to prevent this from happening because as you correctly pointed out, this is going to happen exactly if we don't do anything. Right now, wala pa ho yun eh. And the good thing about what we're doing, Mr. Chair, is we are anticipating a catastrophe that is about to happen assuming we don't act.
Okay. So let's go to action, no? Okay. So tama po. It is subsidies for petroleum, diesel and gasoline, and subsidies for fertilizer. Tama po.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay. May I ask, Yusek, ano yung main mode of distribution po natin? Because ito naman po, just my experience, pag umiikot po ako at nagtatanong ako sa mga magsasaka kung nakakatanggap sila ng tulong, marami ho nagsasabi na wala naman po kami sa listahan. No? So this was the same case with DSWD, DOTR, and Pantawid Pasada. Even during the hearing, may mga drivers po nagsasabi, nakakakuha po yung ibang kasama nila, pero sila wala naman sa listahan. No? So may I ask, ano nga, tama po ba yan in your estimation, what percentage of farmers ang nakakakuha ng direct support from the government? No? Meron po ba talagang number of farmers na hindi kasama? Of course, our private sector is also here. They can tell us also. Pero sa tingin po ninyo, nakukuha nyo po ba lahat ng mga magsasaka? Lahat ba sila nakakakuha ng tulong? O meron pong nalileft out talaga?
Definitely, Mr. Chair. The distribution process is yet to be perfected. And we agree that there are areas where coverage is not yet complete. Kasi po, 11 million farmers and fishers po yan eh. So definitely, there's an area for improvement. But
The 11 million is through the RSBSA?
Ano po yun?
Yung mga registered.
Pareho po.
Yes.
Opo, pati po yung sa fishermen.
Yes, so registered yan.
Opo, and then we also have, of course, yung pong sa PCA, meron din po silang registry. So, definitely, I will not disagree to the possibility na some people are left out, but generally, those who are listed are more than those who are left out.
May I ask, and again, no, nais lang ho kasi natin makita na buo yung coverage natin. Yung 11 million na farmers and fishermen, yan po ba yung naaabot ng departamento o yan po yung total number ng mga magsasaka at mangingisda sa Pilipinas?
Well, the support of the department is dependent on the resources that is given to us. But we do know that there are cases where many farmers are not reached by the support because there is no resources allotted to them. And so it is a question really of the availability of resources.
So dalawa po yan, Yusek. No? Una is availability of resources, pangalawa is completeness of your list.
Yes.
Kasi magkaiba yan, no?
Yes, sir.
Dito muna ako sa completeness of your list. So yung 11 million po na nabanggit ninyo, that is the total number of farmers and fishermen in the Philippines. Tama po?
That is the number, yes. Sir.
Okay. And pagdating po sa beneficiaries ninyo, ilang million po yung naaabot ninyo? Para lang ma-compare ho natin yung dami. Kasi I'm sure you have a direct beneficiaries list also.
May I ask?
Yeah, of course.
Go
Asik
ahead,
Manalo to respond?
Asek Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's not directly answering yung question, but I would like to show kanina kasi po, pinakita namin. Yung nare-reach ng DA relative dito sa ayuda, no, is based on the available resources. Yung 7 billion na nire-request po namin under the RCEP for the rice farmers, this will benefit only mga nasa 2.6 million rice farmers that are tilling 2 hectares and below. So, hindi pa dito kasama yung mga 3 hectares and above.
Okay.
Okay. Pangalawa, dun po sa fisheries. Kaya mas mababa sila kasi mas maraming gusto nilang i-cover. Yung sa rice for the fuel is 5,000, but for the fisher folks it's just 3,000. So, I mean,
3,000 and
3,000
only
po.
how many? Of
nasa
your,
14,000 lang po yung target ng fisher
and you have
folks.
2.7 million fishers.
Yes. Even dun sa PAF, dun sa presidential assistance, yan po, this will
10
not,
billion.
yeah, the 10 billion, this does not cover yung mga high value crops, farmers, even the coconut farmers. This covers only rice farmers, corn farmers, sugarcane farmers, as well as around 399,000 fisher folks.
Okay.
Sige po.
Ano sir, I'm not belaboring the point here. I just want to get to the figures kasi eventually, babalik rin to sa atin for funding. 'Di ba? Kaya pag sinasabi niyo po, kulang ng pondo, kami po yung may kasalanan doon kasi hindi namin siya napondohan. At nais namin itong pondohan. No? Pero ang una kong tanong really is yung completeness of our list. Kung mapondohan po natin to, maaabot niyo ba talaga yung mga magsasaka at mangingisda? So let me just be very clear about the question. Nabanggit po ninyo there are 11 million in the agricultural sector. No? Is that correct? Tama po.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It includes also farm workers, by the way.
Dito po sa 11 million, ilan po dyan yung dapat nating tulungan? Kasi gusto ho natin tulungan yung ating magsasaka at mangingisda. So kung tanggalin niyo po yung mga, I guess, the related businesses, but directly to the farmers and the fishermen, how many do we have in the Philippines? Or is 11 million a good number to use?
I would say, because some of them are farm workers, I would say for the direct beneficiary, because again, sir, please note that those that we intend to help are primarily the ones using fertilizers and fuel.
Yes.
It will not include the coconut farmers too much because right now they're using salt.
Sige.
So,
Kung gusto niyo po kahit rice na muna para hindi ho tayo mahirapan.
I think, sir, 6 million will be a safe number.
Okay.
6 to 7 million will be a safe number.
Of the 6 to 7 million, meron po ba tayong 6 to 7 million names in our database?
More than that. sir.
More than that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, you're saying merong completeness or we can approximate yung dami ng mga magsasaka sa Pilipinas. Maaabot ho natin yan kung nais natin maabot.
We will have a reasonable, reach. I mean, beyond reasonable, almost, I cannot say perfect, but
Opo.
almost 90% we can reach.
Okay. So that's a good, I want to start there. So, dito po sa dami ng magsasaka at mangingisda, up to 90% may access po tayo. Kaya nating maabot sila through the networks of DA, our LGU partners, DSWD, maaabot po natin sila.
That
Yes.
That is definite, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, kung
If I
gusto,
may just very
yeah,
quickly,
go ahead.
At maaabot dapat sila by May or June. Tama?
May or June, up to June, sir.
Okay.
Yun na nga. In other words, kayang maabot yung numero, ang tanong ngayon, at dapat maabot by May at the latest June.
Yes.
Kung
Yes, Mr.
dadagdagan,
Chair.
in other words, kung dadagdagan ng pondo, di ba?
Magagamit yung pondo at mabibigay.
At madapat magamit by June.
We will do everything, sir, to reach
Okay.
them by June.
So 90% ng magsasaka nasa listahan po ninyo. Of course, may 10% tayong habulin. Pero 90% is that's a sizable number, di ba? Now, babalik ko tayo dito sa slide ninyo about the assistance, no? Meron kayong, is that right, 7 billion na naka-allocate na? Tama po ba, Yusek?
That's the funded, that's the unfunded, sir.
That's the unfunded. Okay. So,
Budgeted but wala pang pondong nire-release.
That's for fuel.
and is that enough to support our 6 to 7 million farmers?
No, sir.
Magkano kailangan ninyo? I guess yan po yung magandang tanong.
The total estimate, we're still, to be honest, we're working on the math because there's so many variables involved. The size of the land, the nature of the tillage, and things like that. But to give you an idea, sir, for 3 major crops, I'm talking about palay, corn, and fisheries, 37 billion already.
Well, ito po ito yung pananaw ko dito no. In the 2026 budget, we have almost 200 billion pesos worth of ayuda. No? Ang laki po niyan. Kung i-add mo lahat ng ayuda programs, abot ka ng 200 billion. Hindi ho ba ngayon dapat yung panahon na gamitin yung perang yan? No? Ngayon po yung panahon para ilabas yung perang yan, matulungan natin itong mga kasama natin, mga kababayan natin na nagpapakain sa atin. Kasi kung di ho natin ito magagawa, bababa yung production, which we know getting back to your previous production level is more difficult than yung pagbaba. No? Mas mahirap yung pagtaas kaysa sa pagbaba. So kailangan we do everything para manatili tayo at 80%. You're roughly at 80% already production level. Congratulations. Pangalawa, bababa na nga yung production, tataas pa yung presyo sa merkado. 'Di ba? At pag tumaas yung presyo sa merkado, lahat ng mamamayan apektado. So, ito pong pagtulong sa ating agricultural workers, ang rami po nitong magandang epekto kung tama yung pagtulong natin. So, tama ho kayo, nasaan yung pondo? Ako naman, may pondo, ngayon na natin to gamitin. Let's use it now. Kasi kung hindi natin gagamitin yan, posibleng mag-domino effect yan at mas marami sa 6 million yung matatamaan. Lahat ng tao matatamaan. And I'm sure you agree with me, Yusek, no?
Yes, sir.
So ang tanong namin is, let's say for example, we're able to access that huge ayuda budget. Makuha natin yung tamang suporta. Kasi sa pananaw ko, Chairman, yung karamihan, kung di lahat ng magsasaka at mangingisda, pasok naman sila dun sa nais matulungan ng ayuda. Yung mga requirements doon, pasok naman sila. No? I think our friends from DSWD are also here. More or less, all of those 6 million would fall under the criteria for ayuda, no? Yusek Dimaporo, no? Tama po, di ba? On the mic, please.
Yes, Honorable Chair, that is correct. We respond to anyone in crisis that under our assistance for individuals in crisis situations.
So itong perang ito, ang suggestion ko ay gamitin na natin ngayon para hindi lumaki pa yung mga problema natin at madamay pa yung lahat ng kababayan natin, no? So the key really is to access the funds. Now, ang tanong of course, meron bang cash, meron bang that's another problem. Maybe DOF can help us with that later on kung meron tayong cash kasi the needs are immediate. No, we need to act now. But if you ask me, gamitin na natin yung perang yan. Let's use it for our farmers and our fishermen kasi matitigil natin yung patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo. No, yes, Yusek, please.
Richard, just to be very clear, the 37 billion that I mentioned will cover only 3 months. Because again, the projection that we're trying to prevent, the crisis that we're trying to prevent for the production is for the production of this season. So that is 37 billion. So we're talking about May, June, July inputs so that we will have harvest for the following months. So that's about 37 billion, including na po yung sa fisheries.
Just to clarify, the 37 billion are subsidies. This is not cash assistance.
These are support, yes sir.
Diba? It will be for fertilizer
Yes sir,
and for fuel.
yes sir.
And so, well, I asked that in the context of, I believe Senator Legarda has filed a measure for Bayanihan 3. No? And in the context of the points earlier raised by Senator Bam, we have about 200 billion of assistance. But that assistance, under the current setup, is cash. This is not fuel, this is not fertilizer. That's why, in the context of a Bayanihan 3 mindset, which I read in the papers, the President has expressed openness to a Bayanihan 3. That's where we will now look at whether it will be in the form of fuel, fertilizer. And mind you, it's already April. No? So we have 3 weeks before May. when you need it. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Yusek.
Yes, sir. We call it targeted co-investments.
Yeah.
We're co-investing with the farmers on fertilizer because of the increase. We're co-investing on the fuel because it's not their fault if these prices go up beyond reasonable terms.
Agree.
And so the government is co-investing with them on the unreasonable increase. Thank you.
Is DBM here? Anyone from DBM? Wala. Maybe DOF. I know there's a DOF here. Yes, ASEC Cabiles.
Mr. Chair, yeah, we actually see DBM has identified the specific sources already, but as to the specific accounts, we need to check with them.
May I ask, and alam ko this is really for DBM more than DOF, pero yung nabanggit ni Chairman na kailangan ng isa pang batas para ma-access natin yung mga na-allocate sa ayuda, hindi ba pwedeng ma-consider, ang ayuda ba, like the AIX and all of this, is it indicated na kailangan cash siya? Hindi ba siya pwedeng in goods or in fertilizer or fuel subsidies, for example? I just want to clarify, kasi if we're going to wait for another law that will take another 2 months at the minimum, would it be legal and proper, for example, since it is in general a assistance for needy Filipinos and our farmers and fishermen right now are in desperate need? Yes, go ahead.
Sir, we'll need to review, pero I think there's an opinion from the SW.
Ay, sige po, Yusek Dimaporo.
We can only, our interventions under AIX are only in cash. If it's not cash, then it would be a guarantee letter or GL that everyone knows of when we pay for medical bills and burial and funeral costs. But in terms of food subsidies and any other related crisis, that would be in the form of cash.
Okay. Let me, I'll ask DOF to maybe take a further look at this. Kasi sa isip ko, I know the devil is in the details, no? Kailangan alamin natin yung specific. But it does seem like an assistance anyway. I'm sure the worry of DA is that if it's in cash, baka magamit sa ibang bagay. Pero kung subsidy siya, it will be in actual usage of petroleum or actual usage of fertilizer. Is that correct, Yusek? What if it's cash na ibigay natin? Kasi that cash is allocated already, Yusek.
Well, definitely, sir, we can study that. Our farmers are reasonable men, and that they have extra money that they can use to buy fertilizer, which is their livelihood. Hindi naman po tamang i-assume na hindi gagamitin yun doon. No? But I think, and to think otherwise will be, at least from my perspective, baka naman inappropriate.
Okay.
So I think kung meron silang extra money in cash that is given to them so that they can buy fertilizer or pesticides.
Okay rin.
Opo, kasi nangungutang pa nga po eh.
Exactly. Actually, ang sasabihin ko nga sana, ang kikita dito yung mga 5-6.
Opo.
Kasi syempre, kung magsaka, ayaw mo namang hindi magsaka, di ba? Kasi wala ka rin talagang produkto, wala kang kakainin. So, inevitably, pag hindi na kaya yung presyo ng pataba, uutang rin yan, di ba? Tama, Yusek, di ba? So,
Logically, sir, yes. Although I have a word of caution along that line of very positive thinking. We know that generally speaking, a real farmer would provide for his crops. Inuuna nga po na utang muna para nga po ibili ng abono eh. Totoo po yun. So I think if it's in cash, pwede rin po yun. Pero kung kasama po dyan, kasabay ang paggarantiya na meron siyang mabebentahan na tamang presyo, then that will provide an additional incentive to plant. Because here, what is important is what we call the planting intention. Planting intention is always governed by kikita ba ako o hindi.
market.
No, but if this is coupled with this is your pampuhunan and then meron kang papadadalhan yan, meron kang pupuntahan, then that will boost the planting intention alongside with the capacity because now you have the money to support you in buying the inputs. So it has to be both.
in fact, Yusek, sa Nueva Ecija, if I'm not mistaken, ang ginagawa nilang assistance program ay para sa magsasaka, nagiging produkto, nagiging palay, nagiging bigas, and then yung gobyerno rin yung bumibili at the end, no? So, as far as I know, si Nueva Ecija and Governor Umali has had multiple awards for this program where they have an inclusive supply chain, no? Yung kanilang social welfare at yung kanilang feeding program at yung kanilang support for the farmers ay magkaisang budget yan, no? Tulong-tulong sila dyan, no? So that's of course something that we should be doing. Pero since very immediate po ito, I would suggest that Secretaries Gatchalian and Chiu Laurel, and maybe in the Crisis Committee for Food that Senator Pangilinan has put up, baka pwede mapag-usapan kung pwedeng ma-access yung ayuda. Kasi time is of the essence eh. No? Naghahabol tayo ng harvest time. Kung di ho natin mabibigay yung tulong na yan, makikita natin tataas talaga yung presyo ng bilihin sa palengke. At yun yung ayaw natin makita. So I would suggest that you do this. Of course, if it's between the agencies, that's already up to the executive. If there's a need for further allocation, pwede ho namin pag-usapan yan. Whether it's Bayanihan 3 or a supplemental budget or kung ano man. But note that this will take a little bit more time. Kasi ang proseso, in fact, if you look at the excise tax, ang tagal na po niyang napasa, but government can't act on it until ASEC Cabiles, April 11 ba? April 15. They can't act on it until April 15 because of the rules, no? In terms of number of days na kailangan promulgated siya. So kahit madagdagan natin yung budget na yan, baka July na po yan, baka lumabas. So I would suggest that the secretaries talk to each other. Baka ma-access po natin yan. Palagay ko naman magandang paggagamitan po yung ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda ng pondong yan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Maybe we can, on that point, maybe the Department of Finance can also, well, inform us. No, this, with this state of energy emergency declaration, that therefore now allows the national government to access the national disaster, is that correct? The calamity funds. So that may now be one avenue or one vehicle, no? Tama ba? Please clarify. that.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the disaster fund may be accessed for certain purposes in response to the emergency. Yeah.
Yes, so may we request the Department of Finance, no, to maybe provide us some guidance as to whether or not the Office of the President will be tapping to address precisely some of these concerns that have been raised? Because you have the contingent fund, for example. Is that also accessible because of the declaration of an emergency? The national disaster, that contingent fund is about 13 billion. National disaster risk reduction management is 23 billion. This does not include your LGUs who also have calamity funds. No? All of the calamity funds are now available. Tama ba for this national emergency?
Yeah, the contingent fund and the RMM fund, Mr. Chair, have been identified as available funding and programs for the response measures, of which the response measures that it will be announced forthcoming kung saan yung uses.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I want to clarify, ASEC Cabiles. So pwede nang gamitin ng LGU yung kanilang Quick Response Fund tsaka Calamity Fund with your declaration of national energy emergency. If you remember, some of us gave comments na we fell short of declaring a national emergency because when you declare a national emergency, you can also declare a price freeze. You can also declare usage of the QRF and other calamity funds. I don't recall seeing those provisions in the EO for national energy emergency. So are you clarifying that LGUs can access that?
Yes, so Mr. Chair, just to clarify, so the response measures were discussed yesterday under the Uplift Committee. So as to we do not have actually the details yet of what were the discussions in the Uplift Committee. So our understanding is that this will be announced by the Office of the President.
And it may mean another executive order for usage of these funds, or can they already use it based on the EO for the national energy emergency? Or we're not sure?
We're not sure yet, Mr. Chair. So it really depends on the agreements of the Uplift Committee yesterday.
Okay, so malalaman natin because a number of LGUs have actually have stated that they do want to access these funds to support their farmers, fishermen, transport workers, but because it wasn't stated in the National Energy Emergency Executive Order, walang clarity kung pwede nilang gamitin. So you're saying maka-clarify yan. And we're hoping that these funds can be accessed, or we're suggesting and recommending to the executive that these funds be accessed already. No? All right, thank you.
Yes, I'd like to clarify lang with the DSWD. No? My understanding is DSWD chairs the Interagency Task Force on Zero Hunger. No? And therefore, you have programs to address precisely these issues of feeding, hunger, etc. How then, for example, in this state of national emergency, can the DSWD, in addressing zero hunger, dovetail efforts so that the feeding programs, the hot meals programs are therefore, and maybe even community pantry programs, if it's in partnership with private sector and ruralizing, in terms of addressing itong potential food shock, diba? And therefore ensure that there is a dovetailing of efforts. Zero Hunger, the SWD, the A, nasa inyo yung AIX eh. Pwede bang yung AIX maging sabihin na nating pondo para doon sa mapondohan yung inyong zero hunger program? In other words, you're putting you already have that memorandum of agreement, you chair it, di ba? We are anticipating food shocks that might lead to hunger. You have the AIX budget. Is that possible that you dovetail your budget for AIX and address the zero hunger? Is that possible?
Thank you for the suggestion, Honorable Chair. I'll take this up with the Secretary, and definitely this is something that we can look into. It's enhanced partnership against hunger and poverty. They have yet to meet, but when there is a meeting or the chair can also call for a meeting, this particular crisis can be assessed.
Yesterday I was in General Los Santos, and the enhanced
EPAP,
yeah,
for short,
yeah.
yes.
The farmers are actually selling directly to the DSWD their produce to address that program. So that's a separate budget, di ba? That's a separate budgetary appropriations. But can you not, at the same time, since you're the ones helping us, since you're the ones providing us the supplies, i-AIX na rin namin kayo. Di ba? Dadagdagan na namin. In other words, it's directed towards our food producers, the fisher folk, under several programs. So that is something that you already have. That's 63 billion worth of AIX, di ba? So andyan na yan, budgeted na yan. Kinakailangan na lang ma-implementa. So perhaps you can submit to this committee, after you sit down with the Secretary Rex, no, ano ba ang pwedeng gawin para ma-enhance yung EPAP, at masuportahan yung food producers at magamit yung AIX in that process, di ba? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement that we have to access the funds that are already allocated. And alam ko naman na yung paggamit niyan, may monthly yan na target, di ba? But considering the crisis that we have now, and considering the processes that have to take place to unlock new budgets, we strongly recommend that we use these budgets that are already allocated for the current crisis. Anyway, pagdating ng July, kung maibsan natin itong problemang to, we can allocate again kung kinakailangan. Pero right now, speed is really of the essence. And unfortunately, yung mga institutions natin, may mga proseso talaga. We have to access the funds that are more readily available at this moment. No? Okay. So let me go back to you, Sec Perez. So may posibleng budget na nandyan. Hindi natin alam kung papayag yung executive na magamit yan, although we're strongly recommending that we use all budgets we can use. There's disaster budget, contingency fund, may AIX and other ayuda programs. Meron din kayo. Right now, magkano yung kaya nyo ma-access para sa tulong sa mga mangingisda at magsasaka, Yusek Perez? How much, like kung sasabihin ko ngayon, ang pera ng DA para sa pagtulong na ito, magkano yung meron kayo at kaya nyo magamit?
19 ata yan di ba? Meron
Is that
10
billion?
Billion. Meron kang 10, meron kang 9, meron kang 3. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. For the current budget of DA, and of course to respond to this emergency right now, we have available budget at the DA, okay? We are looking at the continuing appropriations, for one. We have continuing appropriations that were not used for 2025 so that we can use it for 2026. That amounts to around 8 billion unobligated. So that is free, no? That is free to be used. Only we have to go through the process of realigning them and all those things. So we have 8 billion there. Then the second one is we can look also at the 2025. Well, this is something, of course, that our economic managers can, of course, decide the use of the unreleased appropriations for the FMR roads, for the FMRs. We still have an unreleased appropriations of around 10 billion for farm to market road, which was not used by the DPWH in 2025. So that's already 18 billion. Now we can also use some funds that can be freed because of our energy conservation measures. So we're looking at, initially, we're looking at traveling, yes, and we're looking also at training, workshops, and all those, and unessential, unessential, so that would be around 1 billion. So that's already 19 billion. So we can also look at the research program of DA. For 2026, we have around 2 billion, which are actually allocated for basic research, which as of this moment is we are reviewing no, our research program because we thought that we should realign them to applied research rather than the basic research so that we can already put them into trial and can be used already by our farmers for production purposes. So that's around 2 billion, so we have now 21 billion. The other thing that we're looking at, of course, is to look closely also at some activities in the DA. For example, our budget for fertilizer. Of course, our budget for fertilizer for 2026 total is around 16 billion, no? 16 billion pesos. But I think because of inorganic fertilizer that we are using right now and for which the 16 billion is allocated to, I think we are looking at some alternative. No, instead of urea, we are also looking at some alternative. So we can use that.
Biofertilizers.
Yes, biofertilizer.
Which
So we
is,
can realign some of those. Yes.
Which is, I'm told,
Yes.
is, well,
Yeah.
urea is 8 times more expensive than the biofertilizer.
Yes, yes. So we're looking at that. So we have 16 billion, so I
you can
don't know how
actually-
much we can realign from that. But we may need additional, also. Initial estimate is around 2 billion. So we'll be trying to look at those and again review our budget so that we can talagang anuhin na namin talaga, kakalkalin na namin
Yusek,
kung ano yung pwede
umabot
natin
kaya
makuha.
ng
So
37
21
eh.
billion.
Umabot kaya ng 37, dun pa lang.
Yes. Ang
So-
ating the next one is I think the more medyo mahirap lang but we're thinking actually out of our 168 billion budget under the OSEC kasi yung OSEC ng DA ang pinakamalaking budget na naibigay po ninyo. So we are looking at that so that we can look at around 20% of that na pwede nating pwede nating talagang na talaga, no? I-earmark na, i-modify na natin at gawin na. But we, of course, we need some presidential issuance for that so that we can align, no? 20%. So that 20% is around 168 times 20%. So that's about, yes. So yun na po yun.
Ang laki nun.
So around 32 billion kung bibigyan po kami ng pagkakataon through presidential issuance which we are proposing also.
Yusek,
Yes.
lahat po naman nabanggit ninyo, abot kaya ng 69 billion eh.
I
So,
think we can.
oh,
Actually,
okay.
sir,
At hindi pa kasama dyan yung
Yeah.
10 billion presidential assistance fund.
Actually, sir, we
Hindi pa
can
kasama.
also,
Tama?
oo.
No, just clarify that. What you mentioned, you have not included what is in the 2026 budget of 10 billion for the farmers and fisher folk. The magkano yung sa 7 billion sa rice. 'Di ba? Tapos so that's another 17 on top of
Hindi,
what
included na po yon yung sa RCEP kasi part na po nung 30 billion natin yun
Ah,
na
so
budget.
included na
Part
yun.
na,
Yung 10
included na
hindi
po
pa.
yon. Yung 10 ang hindi pa, yung sa
Yun,
farm to
so
market
79.
road. So that's plus. So yun po yon. So we can, kung talagang anin natin. But we can also do that. Yung sinasabi ko pong 20% na pwede na talaga natin through presidential issuance, pwede po natin yung i-implement at the national scale po.
Si Yusek Perez wants to say something. Sige
Yes,
po.
thank you po.
We are grappling with whether or not we can do it only through an executive action because we did a little legal review of this. Seems like you need a legislation to allow realignment because the president can only utilize or savings
Oh, because of the Supreme Court rulings,
because
no?
of the Supreme Court
Okay.
rulings. And so that is the reason why while we can identify resources within and also resources from say DILG, yung mga pondo po ng LGU for co-investment. Honestly, I believe that initial legal review, it will still require some form of legislation rather than just a proclamation.
Yusek, so yung iba dito, kailangan, yung iba hindi, no? So, yung meron na kayo, sa tingin ko, is roughly maybe about 15 plus billion. Kasi you have your 16 billion na fertilizer program, you have your 10 billion na pang farmers, may 26 billion na kayo kaagad na technically pwede nyong gamitin. So, gamitin nyo na yan. Now, many of us have said that if the president calls for a special session to realign all of these budgets, we're here. Papasok kami and we will get the job done in the fastest possible time. So nasa inyo po yan sa Ehekutibo, mag-usap-usap internally sa DA or among agencies kung ano yung pwedeng ma-access. It could be a combination, baka iba galing sa AIX, iba galing sa pondo ninyo, pero yung mahalaga, matulungan yung ating magsasaka. No? Now, if it does require legislation, if the president calls for a special session, nandito kami. I can almost assure you the Senate and I'm sure Congress will be here to respond to that call kung kinakailangan. Ang nais namin makita is for us to move as fast as possible. Kasi sabi nga po ninyo, may harvest tayong hinahabol. Pag di natin mahabol yan, magdo-domino effect yan sa palengke. So we have to move as fast as we can. Now, iba pang issue yung pondo dito sa pinag-uusapan natin. Iba pa yung pag-distribute ng pondo na alam rin natin, challenging rin yan. So habang nandito pa lang po tayo, Yusek, I would suggest you're already looking at your lists. You're checking your lists, making sure na kompleto yan, making sure na totoong tao yung mga nabibigyan.
You're checking
Okay.
it twice?
Gonna find out,
You're
diba?
gonna find
Okay, your 16, sorry, one quick question lang, Chairman. Itong 16 billion po na fertilizer program, okay?
Gangster, you know, we do that better than anybody.
I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the front, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the depths of hell is where them cowards going. Well, all you still down, nigga, holler when you see me. And let these devils dissolve for the day they finally free me. I got a caravan of niggas every time we ride. Hitting motherfuckers up when we pass by. Until I die, live the life of a boss player.